Can you hear me? We're good? Good.
Camera's not coming on.
No, because they have to.
Let the microbes be on. Put my camera on skinny. Skinny. I got it all fat. Come on, you're gonna be. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the City of Hialeah Planning and Zoning Board meeting for Wednesday, June 14th, 2023. Everyone, please rise for the invocation of the Pledge of Allegiance. Lord, we thank you for this opportunity you granted us here tonight. We ask that you please watch over us and guide us through these next items in front of us. And please help us make the right decisions for all those involved. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May be seated.
Meeting guidelines. The following guidelines apply to today's Planning and Zoning Board meeting. Any person, whether participating via the web platform, telephonic conferencing, or physical presence at City Hall, interested in making comments or posing questions on any item on the agenda may do so during the meeting. Members of the public may hear the meeting live through telephonic conferencing using any telephone and cellular phone service. A smart device or computer are not necessary to participate in the meeting if you join by phone. All persons participating via the web platform will be muted during the meeting until called upon to be heard. Participation through Zoom requires a computer or smart mobile device with a microphone and web camera. The participant may elect to participate in the meeting using audio only or appear through both audio and video. The video function of all participants appearing through video will be turned off until called upon to be heard. All lobbyists must register with the Planning and Zoning Board prior to item being heard. A maximum of 4 speakers in favor and 4 speakers in opposition will be allowed to address the Planning and Zoning Board on any item. Each speaker's comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Roll call. Mr. D. Perez.
Here.
Mr. Gamon is absent. Mr. Iglesias.
Here.
Mr. Jimenez.
Here.
Mr. Ulloa.
Here.
Mr. Casanova is absent. Mrs. Enrique.
Here.
We have a quorum.
And he comes bearing gifts. What's up, mister?
It's for the 20, or the 20, the second meeting of June, not the first. Administration of all to all applicants and anyone who will be speaking before the board on any item.
Do we have anybody on Zoom? No, not tonight? Okay, everyone, please stand, raise your right hand if you're gonna speak in front of us. Raise your right hand and we'll swear you in.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth before this board?
Thank you. May be seated.
Summary minutes or a copy of the audio file of the proceeding before the Planning and Zoning Board shall be prepared and submitted to the City Council before its hearing. The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard by the City Council at a scheduled meeting of Tuesday, June 27, 2023. LU 1, small scale map amendment from low density residential to medium density residential. Properties located at 630 Southeast 8th Place, Hialeah zones R1, 1 family district. Applicant UFH LLC.
See applicant present?
No, don't see him.
The applicant is not present, but we have 8 objections, so I would like to read it in the code because I think that there's people from the public that came for that item. So we'll read it and then you decide if you want to take it.
Okay. Okay.
The way it works is that I first read the recommendation, And since the applicant is not here, most likely we won't hear you. Most likely they would like to table the item, but at least you hear the recommendation and you know what's happening.
This is the item for 630 Southeast Eighth Place.
Correct.
Okay.
The property in this application is a corner lot located at the southeast intersection of Southeast 8th Place and Southeast Park Drive. The property is improved with a single-family home built in 1951 on a 0.54-acre irregular parcel. The area is within Area 3 of the Neighborhood Business District Overlay. However, the Neighborhood Business District Overlay only applies to properties with industrial, commercial, medium or high-density residential land use and CBD land use. The property is within a block entirely designated as low-density residential. The adjacent blocks to the north, east, and south also have low-density residential land use, and the adjacent block to the west has medium-density residential land use, fronting Southeast Park Drive and commercial fronting Okeechobee Road. In general, this is a low-density residential neighborhood buffered by blocks with higher density and intensity facing Okeechobee Road, Southeast 8th Street, and Lejeune Road. The applicant is before the city requesting a land use change from low-density residential to medium-density residential in order to redevelop the property under the neighborhood business district regulations at a density of 39 units per acre that would allow 20 residential units. Medium density residential land use would allow up to 12 residential units. Although the property is facing higher densities along Southeast Park Drive, staff believes that increasing the density to 39 units per acre under NBD regulations or even to 24 units per acre would not be consistent with the surrounding low density residential land uses. Maybe under current standards, the lot is too large for one single family home. However, more units could be proposed by building duplexes or townhomes, intensifying the use of the site, but also keeping land use consistency. The recommendation is denial.
Okay, we're gonna read the, because we have a couple of letters here and people are.
Yeah, we have one letter that is that has eight persons objecting, 8 addresses, and then we have another letter, but the person objecting in that letter is included in those.
Oh,
8.
okay.
So it's 8.
Do you want me to read it or you want to wait until?
I would like
No.
to hear it, if it's possible, I would like to hear it, if you would,
Sure.
and see what they have to say.
Yuselisa's question was, does she have to read the letter into the record? You don't have to read the letter. Everybody has the letter. The letter itself can be placed into the record. No.
But we can give the public the opportunity to.
It's up to the board.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's the one.
We're really not gonna hear the item tonight. But we might as well do them a service and just,
Well, you will be hearing,
Yeah,
you make it, you have to make a decision now. If you'd like to table the item, you table it now if you don't want to hear the item. If you'd like to hear the item and hear what the residents have to say, you can do that. And then you can decide if you'd like to table, approve, or deny on a motion. But if you do listen to them, you are hearing the item.
right. Okay, so. Basically, it's in for a denial if you want to hear it. Does anybody else have an objection to that? We want to hear the letter of
If it's a
objections?
denial, do we still have to, I mean, the.
Okay,
It's a recommendation of denial. Then you vote and you decide you can table it, you can approve it, or you can deny it.
Yeah, but if the persons are not here, we're gonna,
Well, you decide.
should be
that
tabled,
then,
correct?
But would you open it for the public since the public can hear? it?
Okay,
Mr.
so
Iván
we can
wants
give them
to
the
take it
opportunity
as
so they
well.
can take, that's fine.
You can always table the item after you hear the
Oh,
public.
okay, no problem.
all right,
We'll go there.
go ahead and read it in.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
You gonna read the letter?
Yeah, go ahead.
She's gonna read the letter.
Oh, you're gonna?
I can read it, but if you want to, I'd rather.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
no,
Michelle.
no, go ahead. It's your letter?
Yes.
Name and address, please.
Margarita Lozano, and this is for Diego A. Garcia, 860 Southeast Sixth Avenue, Hialeah, Florida, 33010.
Okay, and you're the author of the letter or?
I am the author of the letter, but I have a power of attorney over my dad to be able to write this letter for him and for, I've included like signatures.
Go ahead and proceed.
Okay, dear City Council, as a homeowner of the city of Hialeah for over 54 years, I have seen the city change and grow in many ways. But I, along with the other surrounding homeowners of the above mentioned parcel, we as a group are not in agreement to the proposed construction mentioning in the letter. This is a residential single-family home community. With this change, the area will not be able to support the additional density issues that we will have impact us. This multifamily building will not benefit us in any way other than to cause our visitors to have nowhere to park. Our city constantly struggles with density control issues. The plot of land is one of the last larger parcels in the neighborhood with greenery and space. Knocking it down, making us, the residents and homeowners of the area, feel suffocated with the development. If the developers don't stop encroaching their construction ideas in our residential neighborhoods, we're soon not to have any single-family homes in the area. Below is the list of homeowners in the immediate area that do not agree with the development, and they stand firm with this decision. And then I've signed it, and I have other signatures, like the letter I sent to the young lady. I've collected the signatures.
Thank you. All right, board members, we heard the concerns of the young lady.
Okay,
At this moment, do we have any comments or questions that we want to bring forth?
not at all.
Okay, the recommendation is either denial or table. Correct?
The recommendation is denial.
Denial.
You decide if you want to deny, approve.
But you're also suggesting table since the applicant is not present. Okay.
You have a-
Motion to table.
So again, I throw it back to you all and you give me a motion table, motion denial.
Well, if the person is not here, they don't have the right to hear it, so let's motion to table the item until.
Until the next meeting.
Yeah,
I'd like to.
Sounds
motion to
good.
Deny.
Okay, no, we already have a motion by Jimenez and.
I'll second that motion.
and
So motion by Mr. Jimenez, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. D. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Yua,
No.
Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias,
Yes.
item has been tabled.
The item will not be heard tonight. Except for your reading of your concerns. That is read into the record. The next hearing on this will be when?
It will be June 28th at 6
June-
p.m.
June 28th. Hopefully, the applicant will be present at that time. If not, it's right now is going into the record with a recommendation of denial. Not from back there. If we, please come up here. And the reason for that is we need to capture you on the record.
I imagine that he received a letter like us, that we were going to be invited, or at least to speak or to.
Well, he is the interested party, so.
Right, well, so he knew that we were gonna be here or possibly be here.
So,
Yeah,
He did not appear.
He knew, he posted the signs on the property so that he knew like 10 days ago. So
Okay.
he absolutely knew why he's not here. We don't know, but she has your contact. So if something happens that he withdraws the application or something happened for the next week.
Okay.
For the next meeting, we will let you know, so you don't need to come if it's.
And when someone is absent, I'm sorry if I'm asking silly questions. Does someone send an email and say, I cannot appear at tonight's hearing? Is that also
Well,
something?
Yeah, but we don't know what happened. Maybe this
Okay.
person had an accident, right? Someone in his family had
Absolutely.
an accident, so we have to give them like the benefit of the doubt.
Correct.
And call him between this meeting and the next and see what happens on the next meeting.
Thank you.
as a courtesy, we would like to give him one more opportunity. Hence, table. even though there is a suggestion of denial from the planner and from one of the members, okay? The rest of the board voted on postponing it one more time or to the next meeting to give the applicant a chance. Now, that's an entirely different meeting. It'll still retain a recommendation of denial. If they don't show up, then by all means, hey, you've had your chance.
Okay.
And there's a companion item with this, the rezoning, that won't be considered.
I'm sorry, repeat that?
There is a companion item that is the rezoning of the property, because first you need the land use and then the zoning, so that won't be heard. That will remain as is, will not be considered.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
I'd like to make a comment, sir.
Sir,
Yeah, we have someone.
I apologize, but I don't like the fact of developers having a second opportunity or anything like that, having an opportunity to table it. These people came out of their way. They're sure they had other plans for tonight than being here today. We should respect our citizens and understand the developer didn't show up. It's his fault. He should have known if he was really that interested in doing it, should have been here. If it was that important to me, he should have been here. If something that big, I would be here. I'm not in favor of tabling this item. This item should have been denied. And I apologize that it wasn't. And hopefully it will be denied next time.
Yeah,
Okay.
come to the point.
okay, Alex, question for you. Can this motion and this vote be rescinded by the motioning parties? And in other words, can the table motion be rescinded and put up for another vote?
It's not that it can be rescinded. The item is tabled right now.
Right.
The motion, if you would like to bring it back from the table, would be motion to remove from the table. And at that point, it could be up for discussion. At this point, the item has been tabled and set to the side. If this board would like to bring that back, there would be a motion to bring back the tabled item and a second.
Okay, there you have it, folks.
Well, there is a gentleman in the public that wanted to say something.
Okay, while we're still in this item, even though it's over been tabled, please come up here and let us know what your feelings are. Name and address, please.
Yes, hi, my name is Gene Romero. My address is 658 Southeast 8th Place. My home is directly adjacent to this address. Therefore, this will affect me greatly. Sadly, I worked graveyard 11 p.m. to 7 in the morning, and I do have a 5 and a 6-year-old that I should be at home. Yet I'm here, they're not here. That's really not fair. I'm exhausted working nights, so I understand you guys tabled it. You do have those reasons, but we as well, we have our lives. I love this property. I will be affected greatly by this. It will affect me. I am opposed to this. I just want to be heard. Thank you very much.
You were heard and it was noted.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, it is up to the board, like Alex said. If you wish to bring this item out of table, we need to motion to remove it from table. We need to vote on it. If it's removed from table, then the item becomes active again. At that time, a motion will be heard and a second to do yay or nay. So it is up to you all.
Everybody knows how I feel about it. I am totally on denial on this project. I would want to, I would like to motion to remove from table.
Okay. And do we have a second? Okay.
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
Just wanted to make a comment, just because we're.
I'm sorry, there's a motion on the table. If the motion fails, we need to address that first before any comment.
So there's,
Okay, we have a motion by
we don't
Mr.
have
Yulo.
a second. Okay, so that case, motion failed. So go ahead and we.
Through the chair. Just because like we don't make a decision right now, doesn't mean like we don't remember that you were here, that you complained. And it doesn't mean, even if it gets denied here, it doesn't mean it cannot get approved with the city council. This is just one step of the ladder. So there's gonna be like several steps. It's not like if it gets denied right now, it dies. So just so you know, I know it's a sacrifice to come here and we do really appreciate you coming here.
Thank you. So. Okay, so the motion, I mean, the item is still active. So we need to motion table, denial, approval, the item is still active.
I believe we tabled it.
No,
No action has to be taken because it's still, it remains
Oh,
tabled.
it remains. I'm
Mr.
sorry, it
Ulloa's
was-
motion failed,
the
so it
motion
remains
failed. Okay.
tabled.
Okay,
So the item is tabled.
the item remains stable, yes.
And you could always send a letter, even if you can't come, you could send a letter and we'll read it here and consider it. And we definitely understand. I see that you live right behind, right next door, so I wouldn't want to be in that situation.
So this closes the land use part of the meeting.
No, somebody wants to speak, but I don't know if we're closing it or.
Yeah, go ahead. Come on up here. So we're gonna go with table on this.
Good evening.
Even,
My
Name
name
and
is
address.
Eddie Bouchillon. I'm in the deed of the house with my mom, Josefina Bouchillon, which I brought her. She's the one who lives most of the time in the house. I live somewhere else, but she's right in front of it. The address is 617 Southeast 8th Place. And she's right in front of the multiplex units they're planning to do there. I don't know if you're familiar with the area. They just made 200 feet from her house. They just made a multiplex unit as well that is still under construction. They still haven't finished. And it's about 40 units there. I think this is like really, really bad to put another multiplex unit and the amount of traffic is going to be in the street, which is considered a residential R1 area, at least the 8th Place completely. I understand the other street, the Southeast Park Drive is a multiplex area, multiplex zoning, but the 8th Place, okay, and the 6th Avenue is residential R1. So I don't know how can that, be accepted. And the amount of dust that's gonna bring to all the units there is incredible.
well, as you can hear, the recommendation from the city planner from staff is to deny. So they're on board with your vision, with your, with your, what you feel, what you're going
Right.
through.
Right. I
So
understand.
they're on board with that. Me personally, I'm a little bit more flexible and I would like to give everyone that, a possible second chance. But unfortunately, it means that you may have to come back. But at least right now that it went down with a recommendation of denial. And so it will next time. But if you can make it back the next time also.
I brought coffee and croquetas, so your trip is not in vain, if you like.
You can always participate through Zoom.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We will open the mic and the camera for you.
Yeah. Well, we take it seriously. I'd rather be in person.
Hey,
If I have to come back again,
of course.
I'll come
Great.
back.
Okay. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you.
So, okay, so the item
It's tabled.
is table until the next meeting.
Correct.
All right. All right, let's go on to the next one.
You have to close.
Oh, that's right, closing the land use amendments. Let's go to the regular planning and zoning meeting.
Item number 1. Approval of Planning and Zoning Board summary agenda of May 24th, 2023 as submitted.
Motion to approve?
Second that motion.
Motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Iglesias. Mr. D. Perez?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Item has been approved. A written decision and resolution will be prepared and presented for review to the city council. The city council is authorized to affirm with conditions, or override the decisions by resolution. After the resolution is adopted, contact the member of the city clerk's office to obtain a copy of the final decision or resolution. Upon your receipt of a final decision or resolution, contact the building department to obtain your required building permit. Summary minutes or a copy of the audio file of the proceedings before the Planning and Zoning Board shall be prepared and submitted to the City Council before its hearing. The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard by the City Council at its scheduled meeting of Tuesday, June 27th, 2023. Item number 2. Rezoning from R1 one family district to R33 multiple family district to allow the construction of a new 20-unit multifamily building in accordance to neighborhood business district overlay regulations and variance permit to allow only residential use where mixed use is required. Allowed all the units with an area of less than 600 square feet where 850 square feet is the minimum area required. And only 10% of the units can have an area of 600 square feet. Allow 5 feet front setback for the building and 2 feet setback for balconies above the ground floor, where 10 feet built to line setback is required. Allow the 5 feet interior east side setback where 15 feet are required on property lines abutting low density residential districts. Allow 20 parking spaces where 45 parking spaces are required, and allow 10 feet front setback for dumpster enclosure where 10 feet are required. Properties located at 630 Southeast 8th Place, Hialeah zoned R1, one family district. Applicant, UFH LLC.
This is the same property, right? And they're not present.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
This
This-
one, we don't need to read, so you can vote to table it, that's the other one.
I tell you one thing. I'm with John on this one.
We cannot consider this because they don't have a land use, so you cannot rezone from R1 to R33 because one make the land use and zoning consistent. So if you table the other one, it makes no sense.
Right,
to-
Just the parking adjustment, you know, that right there, that killed it for me.
Okay.
But you do not have, it is this board's decision to do what you'd like. You have 3 options: table, approve, or deny. Even though this is a companion item, you can motion and second to do whatever you'd like.
Right. It's a companion item, but it's an item by itself.
Yes.
Okay, it's attached to the other one, but it's an item on its own. It's its own entity. Okay, comments or questions? We already heard the comments and questions from the audience, how they feel about this particular item. Okay,
Motion to deny.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Ulloa, second by Mrs. Enriquez. Mr. Jimenez,
No.
Mr. D. Perez,
yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias.
No,
Okay, item has been denied. Item number 3, rezoning property from RO Residential Office District to B1 Highly Restricted Retail District. And variance permit to allow front setback of 16 feet where 20 feet are required. Property is located at 291 West 49th Street, Hialeah zoned RO Residential Office District. Applicant, Dr. Paulo Guala.
Is the applicant present?
No.
No? Okay. Looks like an absent night tonight. All right, well, do you want to read it in and listen to it, or?
I think that you, whatever you prefer. You can table it without hearing.
but this is
or
the,
you can hear it. This is a
through
recommendation.
the
of
chair?
our- Yes,
this is the building that's right in 49th Street for the doctor.
yes.
We don't know if we had an emergency, we don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, that could
So I will consider that as a we can,
You will, okay. Well,
I think it's approval to me.
Make a motion.
Motion to approve.
Well,
Motion.
let me read it.
Let-
Yes, come in. Let me read it to the record, sir.
Good evening.
Well,
My name is
wait,
Josue
wait,
Mendez.
1 second. We need to read it into the record and open it up for a public hearing.
So the property in this application is located at the northeastern intersection of West 49th Street and West 3rd Avenue. The 49th Street corridor stretch that runs from Palm Avenue to West Fourth Avenue has been historically designated with residential office land use, except for the block where Mylander Park and the JFK Library are located, and several properties that in the last few years were changed to commercial for redevelopment purposes. The Mylander Park block has recreation and open space land use designation and a commercial strip towards the intersection with Palm Avenue. The northeast intersection of West 49th Street and West Fourth Avenue has been redeveloped in the last few years with a new commercial development. Only 2 properties in the subject corridor stretch remain with the original R1 zoning and remain developed as single-family homes. All the rest are developed as residential office on large lots or change their land use and zoning designation and have plans in process for redevelopment, replacing homes converted into offices with new developments that fulfill current needs. The subject property's land use has been amended under Ordinance 2022-089. At this time, the applicant for this 0.48 acre site is before the city requesting rezoning from residential office to B1, with the intention of redeveloping the site with a new 2-story contemporary building for a cardiovascular surgery center. The proposed development places the building towards the southwest corner of the lot, with parking on the east side and rear of the proposed 2-story building, part of it underneath the building. The 2-story building has a contemporary minimalistic design and provides pedestrian access from 49th Street and from the parking at the rear. Parking is in compliance with code requirements. Although front setback variance has been requested to allow 16 feet front setback where 20 feet are required, the variance is not necessary since Section 98-275 urban design incentives that provide for setback reductions in exchange for elements such as parking at the rear of the building, equal treatment of facade, openings alignment, etc. applies. Since the submitted plans show a development that is consistent with the intent of the residential office designation and therefore compatible, that will effectively buffer the low-density residential properties north of West 49th Street, and because the rezoning will make land use and zoning consistent, the rezoning shall be approved. The recommendation is approval.
Thank you, Mr. Storch. Are you the representative of the property?
I'm adjacent to the property.
Okay, 1 second here. Any comments or questions from the board?
This project was approved.
The land use was approved and now they are coming for the rezoning. And there were many that were similar that were
I
approved.
remember talking to the
49th Street.
cardiologist.
Right.
Yeah. Were there 2 cardiologists.
Okay.
Okay, at this point, we will open the public hearing. Name and address, please.
My name is Josue Mendez. Address is 285 West 49th Street. We're exactly adjacent to them. And maybe this isn't the right place for me to ask the question, but I don't know the difference in the zoning, him going from one family to multifamily.
Well, no.
I'm sorry, wrong.
no,
I'm reading the wrong thing.
It's going from residential office to B1. The
To B-
problem with the residential office
No.
allows medical uses, but only allows 2 occupational licenses. The history of that is that in the past, the doctors probably, those were all houses. So
Right.
maybe the doctors would live there and would have their office there. And they could only have 2 occupational
No,
licenses.
I understand
Now-
that
now-
process. We
now
have a
the-
business at our location.
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
We
but-
have the same
But then,
restriction.
let me explain you. Now the industry changed. It's not anymore the doctor and his wife is the secretary. It's a corporation and the corporation have different doctors that have a different time, come at different times. So that limitation is really bad for business. So what they have been doing is changing the land use to commercial and the zoning to B1, that is the lesser intense category in the commercial use.
So the question that I have at this point is, how big of a structure is he building? Is it going to be a 2-story, a 3-story?
Here, you
um,
have here, we can share with you.
And then is he gonna have access to enter the parking lot from 49th Street, or is his entrance gonna be on 3rd Avenue?
The site plan is here, you want to see it, he has access and exit on both streets. The
Because
one
right
on-
now there is no entrance to that property.
Yeah.
On 49th
The
Street, and the traffic
49th
already
Street-
is
Yeah.
bad on 49th Street.
49th Street is belongs to FDOT, the
Right.
Florida Department of Transportation. So
Yeah.
in order to have a curb cut there and have access there, they will need to go to FDOT and get their approval.
Okay.
So, but what they are proposing is to have entrance and exit there and also on West Third Avenue. And it is a two-story building facing the street.
And the setback requirement is only for 49th Street. It doesn't affect
No,
the
they-
east side of the property.
On the east side, they are complying with the requirement and they are complying with,
Okay.
it. They don't need that variance. The variance was advertised because when it was reviewed, they didn't know if they would comply with the urban design and incentives.
Okay.
So when I write the recommendation, that's when I look at that. So that's why I mentioned that the variance is not necessary. They are just coming to rezone the property from R1 to B1 to make the land use and zoning consistent.
Okay, no, problem. I just, like I said, we just wanted to understand what's being built next to us. And this, since we received the notice, we, wanted to be able to find out.
If
Okay.
you, let me show you so you can see, I think there's a rendering here.
Oops, we just lost your microphone.
Show it here, you have it here.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Any more comments or questions from the audience? Is there anyone well, there's no one in Zoom. No. Okay, closes the part of public hearing at this point. What is the pleasure of the board?
Motion by Mr. Iglesias, second by Mr. Jimenez. Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mr. D. Perez,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
Item has been approved. Item number 4. Conditional use permit to allow a supervisory residential care and treatment facility with 6 or less beds and allow distance separation of 6.9 feet where 10 feet are required for a shed to be legalized. Property is located at 340 West 40th Place, Hialeah Zones R1, One Family District. Applicant, Angel Miguel Fernandez.
Name and address, please.
Angel Fernandez, 340 West 40th Place.
Thank you.
The property in this application is a single-family home located on the south side of West 40th Place, east of West 4th Avenue, within a residential neighborhood where all the surrounding properties are zoned R1. The house was built in 1953 and has 2 additions at the rear that were built without the benefit of a building permit and include a bathroom and a kitchen. It currently has a grass area and a driveway at the front west side that extends toward the back and may accommodate 4 cars. The applicant is before the city with a proposal to convert the subject residence into a supervisory residential care and treatment facility with 6 beds. According to Section 98, 1986 of the City of Hialeah Code of Ordinances, residential care and treatment facilities require the approval of a conditional use permit and compliance with distance requirements. Distance requirements have been verified and the location complies with the distance requirement of 1,000 feet from another existing such home with 6 or fewer residents and 1,200 feet from another facility with 7 or more residents. Correspondence has been received from 11 property owners in the area objecting to the proposed use of the property, emphasizing their will to keep the residential character of the neighborhood. A letter of intent submitted with the application states that the purpose is to run a recovery home for cosmetic surgery patients with an average stay ranging from 5 to 7 days. The facility will have a staff of 4 in a single shift, including 1 nurse, 2 nurse assistants, and 1 driver from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. There will be 3 personnel shifts throughout the day. The driver will operate a 7-person van to drive patients to and from the airport and to and from appointments. The letter states that the personnel will be consistently checking patient vitals and will be trained to dial 911 in case of emergency for patients to be transferred to Hialeah Hospital or Larkin Hospital. A supervisory residential care and treatment facility combines residential care and treatment with housing. In this case, because of the nature of the facility, the patient stay will be transitory and will generate numerous trips a day with incoming and outgoing residents and daily trips to medical facilities and the airport. In addition, the proposed 3-shift schedule on a site where 4 cars are proposed to tandem park will end with personnel cars and the transportation van parking on the street, or with an asphalted area at the front and cars backing out into the street, altering the residential character of the area. The presence of a commercial transportation van will be constant, and the demand of emergency services will be most likely higher than in a regular single-family home. These characteristics intensify the use of the property and make it incompatible with the existing residential neighborhood. In light of these considerations, the conditional use permit shall be denied. The distance separation variance shall also be denied since the shed can be easily relocated to comply with code requirements. The recommendation is denied.
Thank you. Comments or questions?
So as far as is that what the neighbors are saying, that it's gonna be like a high traffic area, or?
We
Is
have
that the objections?
several letters of opposition with signatures,
Okay,
okay?
Diego, can you identify himself before he starts?
I think you did.
oh yeah, I did it.
Can you repeat?
Angel Fernandez,
And your address?
340 West 40th Place.
Thank you.
Hialeah.
I didn't hear.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
It did at the beginning.
Sorry.
So as far as the driveway goes, I mean, the house right next to that property has the same type of driveway where there's like, nobody's allowed to park in front. It's all just, drive-in parking in front of the whole property. So,
We have letters that we can read, so you hear the objections of the neighbors.
Dear Hialeah Planning Division, I am writing this letter in response to a legal notice I received regarding a conditional use permit that would allow a residential care and treatment facility. I am opposed to this and would like to express that in this letter. Please note that I have addressed this issue with my family as well, and we are all opposed to allowing such a facility in our residential area. I hope the Planning and Zoning Board will consider our request to not allow such a facility in this residential area. I have lived here for over 50 years, and allowing such a facility will lower the value of our neighborhood and bring more traffic to the area. Sincerely, Olga Montpere, 292 West 39th Place, Hialeah, Florida, 33012.
But they're multiple.
Yes.
And this is the one that has the 11 signatures.
11 signatures.
Okay. So it's okay. One letter with 11 signatures.
Yes,
Okay.
it's one letter and the
Yeah.
11 signatures.
No, that's one letter, and then there is another letter. We, the residents.
Sorry. We, the residents of the following address, are against the proposed change for a CUP to allow a residential care facility with 6 or less beds and allow distance separation of 6.9 feet where 10 feet are required for a shed to be legalized. The property is located at 340 West 40th Place, Hialeah zoned, currently R1.
And the addresses, let me read the addresses because some are repeated. So the addresses are 284 West 39th Place, 250 West 39th Place, 245 West 39th Place, 260 West 39th Place, 3940 West 3rd Avenue, 261 West 39th Place, 291 West 39th Place, 385 West 39th Place, 3901 West 4th Avenue, 340 West 39th Place, 321 West 39th Place, and 3940 West 3rd Avenue. That is repeated, so.
Yeah, the property is on 40th place. I don't.
Yeah, but the neighbors live in the
Yeah.
area, so this impacts the area. So those are they are within the radius that they receive the notice. So
Yeah.
they are part of the same neighborhood.
And as far as it's affecting the property value, is that true?
They are not mentioning it.
Mm.
You have to consider that whether they're in front, to the side, or to the rear of your property. Any major change or development or anything like that to your property will impact them. Again, be it next door neighbor, in front or behind, it's all related, especially when they're right adjacent to your property, so. Okay. All right, any comments or questions? Any more comments or questions?
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
I have two questions. What is the property being used now for?
Right now it's not being used. I was gonna move there with my family if this didn't work out, but
Right.
probably what I'm gonna
Is
end up
this
doing.
vacant?
It was my father's property and he passed away and I stayed with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And since there are two items, can we approve part and deny part or?
No, it all goes together.
No, this is just this one item.
No,
No, it's,
shed.
there's a shed and then.
Oh,
there's
that's right.
a use permit.
You have to do another application for the shed, right?
I have a question because I didn't apply for the shed. Is that like,
Because we
It's
look
mandatory.
we look at the property, as I mentioned, that there are illegal structures that need to be legalized. We look at everything that is necessary. If this was approved, so you don't need to come again.
okay.
Okay. Any more comments or questions? Name and address, please.
Magali's Darcy, 340 West 40th Place in Hialeah. The reason I'm coming up here, this is my husband, the reason why he's getting into the recovery house, because I had a recovery house 7 years ago. And a lot of things have changed. People are dying. There's a lot of issues happening. A lot of recovery houses are being shut down because there's not an actual license for recovery house. So we're trying to do the right thing by getting it legalized. So recovery houses, it's not that it's going to be a lot of people coming in. It's 2 or 3 people coming once a week. We take care of them for a few hours. It's not going to be a lot of traffic. It's not even going to disturb the neighbors. Like I said, I had a recovery house for 5-7 years and never had any issues. I closed it because I got pregnant and now we're trying to reopen it and do the stuff the right way. So for us to do things the right way, it's like we're trying to do things the right way by getting the correct license, but everything that we do, we can't get it. So then we're being called by the next door neighbor that we don't have a license, but we're trying to do things the right way. So how is it possible for us to actually have the correct license for an LF? Like, what do we have to do? Do we have to move somewhere else? Because I know people that have gotten approved for this and they live in kind of worse houses that we're trying to open this recovery house. So what can we do as a business owner to get things the right way?
Through the chair. I mean, I would suggest to talk to these people that are complaining, like see what is it that bothers them. Maybe you could table this item and then we could decide it later on and maybe afterwards they'll be okay with it and you could convince us easier, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, I know that there's other nursing homes around the area that have a lot of traffic. We're not going to have a lot of traffic. It's just they think that it's a lot of traffic, but it's not.
This is
So-
not about the traffic. This is about the compatibility of this type. If this was a residence where you have 6 older persons that are there and live permanently, it's different. But
Okay.
what you are proposing is people coming and going, and you will have a ban. And we read the articles. We know that there are issues that can happen. You can have a surgery.
Mhm.
There's an emergency, the ambulance will come here to the house more likely than to another home where this can happen too. You will have 3 shifts of personnel. So it's an activity that is too intense
Mhm.
for this residential neighborhood. Maybe if you were in a place that you are next to a commercial property
Mhm.
or to a place where it's more active, but this is a strictly residential neighborhood, and what you're trying to do there is not compatible.
So if we're trying to get a nursing home where there's old people living there, that's something that we can do in that property,
Well,
correct?
it's a different application. You will have to
No, I
explain how is the operation, but it's very different than a recovery home.
Okay, okay.
I wanted to add something else. As far as like the ambulances, I don't know if you know that neighborhood, at least there's always ambulances going down that neighborhood. So like a lot of older people living in the area there. And like these girls are like recently coming out of surgery, so all they want to do is rest and recover. It's not like they're loud or partying or making noise or anything like that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so you're saying that the best thing to do is talk to the residents and ask them what's the
That is a
concern?
suggestion.
No,
Just a suggestion.
I don't think that is a fair suggestion. You have 11 neighbors that already said no. I explained the incompatibility of the site, so you should make a consideration. Would you like to have this next to your home? It's very different, a home where someone comes and lives there permanently, but this is something transient.
Right.
Transitory. They come 3 days, 5 days, they leave, they go to the airport, they go to the appointment, they might have an emergency. It's not something compatible with a residential neighborhood.
It's not like a normal ALF,
It's not like a normal area.
correct?
Yeah, they'll
Like
stay.
a regular, normal, everything is normal, but like a regular area.
Correct.
Yeah, they'll stay like an average of 5 to 7 days, but they don't bring their own vehicles. They're shuttled around by us. Like nobody comes in their own vehicles. This is people that fly in from other states and they come to have
Yeah, but
surgery.
they have 4 people working at the location and they have a van to transport people.
Yeah, there's a lot of, that's going to generate a lot of trips, a lot of traffic. More than what the actual neighborhood would support, would care to support, so.
Well, as far as traffic, is only going to be one vehicle taking people to and from the recovery. And like
Yeah, but
nobody's
you-
allowed to
but
bring
you
their own.
have
vehicle.
three nurses that will be there. We need to drive to go there.
Yeah, but it's not like they're leaving and coming. They're just getting
Well,
there,
you
doing,
have
working
3
their shift and
shifts,
then
So
leaving.
they don't come.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just hope that they can get a license for recovery homes, because a lot of people are passing away and not done correctly, but we are, as business owners, trying to do the right thing, but there's no really license out there. So if you guys can present that to them, that would be great, because that would save a lot of people's lives.
May I suggest something to you? Okay. Go home and research your needs, your wishes, your dreams. Research them a little bit more. Question yourself. What is it that I want from this property? What is it that I could do? And only you can answer that. Okay, what can I do that would satisfy my needs, financial and otherwise, at the same time, coexist with the neighbors? Okay, that is something that you need to sit back, do a little bit of soul searching, and then obviously a recovery application, it's not going to set very well. You want to stay in the medical field, there may be some other options. Think about it. We can't tell you what to do,
Yes.
other than sit back, reevaluate your needs, and then go from there.
Through the chair,
Yes, sir.
isn't there like places like Palmetto Hospital, the building that's next door to it rents like medical offices? Couldn't you set up like these medical offices as a recovery center?
Unfortunately, with ACA, no. With ACA, they want us to have an LF license with an actual home. It can't be a building, as that be a property.
That's another thing I spoke directly to ACA and they said that it would fall under an ALF.
Well, I
For that
called
license.
up and they say that they don't give any recommendation and they don't have any type of license for this type of facility.
Yeah, I've never heard of this type of business
Yeah,
before.
I'm telling you, I've been in the business for 10 years. I have a lot of friends that have, like, I actually just had a friend of mine that just got approved for a license for a recovery house. So it does exist. It's just it has to be a house. It can't be, unfortunately, a building.
Maybe it should be someplace like, maybe those houses on 49th Street that have residential, have commercial. Maybe that location, something like that would be more beneficial too, but I couldn't support something like this in a residential area. So I apologize.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Any more comments or questions?
We have some.
Oh, please come up. We need your name and address, please.
My name is Barbara Fernandez and I live at 260 West 39th Place, one of the addresses on the letter. And I just want to say that I've lived there in that neighborhood since 1972. I grew up there and it's a residential neighborhood. The neighbors there, most of them have lived there for many, many years. And it is a residential area. And I don't believe, just like what she said, Deborah Storch, that it is compatible with a residential neighborhood. The neighbors want to keep it residential. We have families, we have children, we have grandchildren. Some of us even have great grandchildren. We don't want to see a commercial setting in the area. As far as his comment about ambulance, the area has,
Can you come a little bit closer to the microphone? Thank you.
okay, the area has ambulance just like any other residential area. It's based on someone, a resident getting sick. So it's the same ambulance traffic that any other residential area would have. So to say that that area had a lot of ambulance traffic, I haven't seen it. It doesn't happen. If you need an ambulance for rescue, you call them. But it's what is consistent with somebody getting sick, and that does not increase the volume or the traffic of ambulances. There isn't even traffic from police officers. Okay, and it is consistent, I believe, with the residential area. And these families are protecting their homes in that they want to live in a residential neighborhood. They don't want to see commercial vans constantly in the area. They don't want to see commercial or medical personnel in and out. They don't want to see visitors. They don't want to see a different type of traffic or use for the area that what we have seen for many, many years. And we do pay residential and we want to live in a residential area. So I strongly disagree that that house and that area is meant for something that they want to do. I hope they find the right place, but I don't think that house is the right place.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that closes the part of public hearing.
Motion to deny.
Second.
We have a motion to deny in a second.
Motion by Mr. Ulloa, second by Mrs. Enriquez. Mr. G. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
item has been denied.
Okay, the item has been denied. Again, I would suggest going home and think about it, just do a little bit of soul searching and see.
Find the right area, that's all.
Okay. Okay.
So you still need to come to a council meeting in.
We decide to appeal.
No, there is one more there are two instances. This is a recommendation that goes to city council, so you need to come to the city council. On
June 27th.
27,
And,
and the city council will consider the item. They are the ones that approve or deny. This is a board that just recommends to them.
They can't override us. Okay.
Mhm.
So if they, they may like your idea. And they may say, yeah, sure, go ahead. They may not and uphold our decision. Okay,
All right, thank you for your time.
thank you. Sure.
Item number 5. Special use permit to allow the expansion of the neighborhood business district overlay. Variance permit to allow 17% of the units with an area of 692 square feet, where 850 square feet is the minimum area required. And only 10% of the units can have an area of 600 square feet. And variance permit to waive the building mass and building frontage development standards. Property is located at 1116 Palm Avenue, Hialeah Zone C2, Liberal Retail Commercial District. Applicant 1116 Property Holding OZ LLC. And the applicant is not here.
This is this is an important application. It's a
Go ahead.
lot, it's almost a block. So I think we should wait for the applicant to be here.
So
Table it.
we should go ahead and table the item.
Motion to table.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Ulloa and Mr. Iglesias. Mr. D. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Item has been tabled.
You wanna pass the item over to her?
Yes, sir.
How about the other one that we tabled? Did we pass it to you?
The LU one as well, please.
Huh?
LU one.
LU1 and PC2.
And
that
was
the main that is behind us.
You won.
And 5, item number 5.
No, you won.
Miscellaneous items not requiring advertise. Item number 6, old business. No old business. Item number 7, new business.
No business?
I'd like to say something if you don't mind.
Sure, go ahead.
I appreciate you guys very much coming here and taking your time off and everything and unfortunately, yeah, we had to vote this young couple down. But I just want everybody to please, when we're here, these people that have their houses residential, I feel for them. I really do. I own a home here too. And we really have to take them into account. I understand that everybody wants to give these developers another opportunity, give them a second chance or whatever. I understand that, yeah, some of us have more of a bleeding heart than others. Maybe I'm just too cut and dry. But I really want to listen to these residents. I hear these residents and I feel for them and I want to do what's best for them. And I think that we should save the few houses that we have left. They're going to go away. There's not going to be houses here in Hialeah. And nobody's going to live here anymore. Nobody's going to invest in the city. We need people to stay here, not people who are just going to rent and leave. We need people who are going to invest in our city, invest in us, keep our city alive, keep our houses. Please think about that every time that there's a house that's going to be torn down. That's a house, is a home. Apartment's an apartment. A home is something magical. Families grow up in it. People have homes. You remember your childhood home? I remember my childhood home. These are things that can't be replaced. And we're tearing them down like if they're meaningless. Turning them into recovery centers, turning them into commercial areas and residential areas. I feel it's disrespectful to the residents. I really, please think maybe I'm too wishy-washy when it comes to this, but I really hope that you guys could see that these residents here are trying to take care of their property, trying to take care of our city. Please consider the residents' feelings more than the developers and the contractors. I understand that everybody wants to give somebody an opportunity, but if a developer doesn't have the consideration to come here, when the people of the city took their time off to come here and petition against it, I feel that the guy doesn't care. And on top of it, he asked for 20 variants on the property that he was asking for anyways. There's a lot of things that we need to consider. And like I said, please, let's try to save the homes that are left in Hialeah, because they're just gonna get torn down and we're just gonna have apartments everywhere. And it's not gonna be a suburb anymore. It's just gonna be some urban city that's gonna be full of crime and everything is gonna get worse and worse and worse.
We have 3 members of the, yes, you can.
Hi, good evening. My name is Michael Leva and I live at 310 West 39th Place, Hialeah, Florida 33012, and I was here for the CUP. Obviously, I didn't need to speak. You guys already have recommended the denial. I've been living in that property for about 11 years now. And to be honest with you, I was one of those residents that a few years ago thought I bought this house at a good price. I can probably sell now. I'm making a little bit more money than I was, 11 years ago. Maybe I can move into a different area, but honestly speaking, I'm in love. I'm in love with my property. I'm in love with the city of Hialeah. I never thought I would be a resident of Hialeah. And I really appreciate you guys taking the time and considering that. But one of the questions that I had was, you guys mentioned that you had a letter with 11 signatures on it, correct?
Yes.
There's another letter that my neighbor, I couldn't sign it because I was working and I never had the opportunity to sign it. And that's why I came here today. But she had written a letter and she submitted with 30-something signatures on it. So we were leaving and I thought, hey, that letter had only 11 signatures. I thought, and some of you might know her. She's been living there for many, many, many years. But she had like 30-something signatures. Her name is Juana.
Yeah.
We didn't,
I didn't receive that letter with 36,
Yeah, and actually I went to go talk to her to sign it for her. And she was like, no, Michael, I already submitted it because I told you.
Juana Hernandez.
Yeah, Juana.
Hernandez.
Hernandez.
201 West 39 Place.
Yes,
The letter has 12, but it has 13, but 2 are repeated addresses. So that's why it's only 11, but it's only 11.
okay, because I know
have
that.
the letter with me.
You need,
Thank
into
you.
the microphone, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, your name is here. Yeah, I walked with her, we walked the neighborhood and we got 30 signature. So, well, if you can resubmit, if you resubmit them, we will send them to the council meeting.
I
on
will
the
bring it because,
27th,
yeah,
because
she
we're-
couldn't come today because
Yeah.
her husband got sick.
Okay,
So that's
okay.
why I came by
So
myself.
if you can please resend it, yes, or bring it to Shiselis, and we will definitely send it to the council members when they consider this item, come that day on June 27.
Okay. Yeah, we got
No.
This is your
no,
notification.
This is the notification.
June
yes.
27th.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be.
Yeah, go ahead and resubmit it. That way it gets added to the current record.
Okay, she has the confirmation, but I couldn't go there because her husband.
Yeah,
got
maybe she sent only one page.
I received 2 documents in the same email, but both documents were the same. That's probably what happened.
Yeah, help her. Maybe she's not that good. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
no, what happened is she took it to her insurance company.
Ah,
And the insurance company, Maria, is the one that scanned it for her and sent it. She's the
yeah,
one
maybe
that
she
told.
scanned
yeah.
it wrong.
you can bring it here physically.
You can
I'll
bring
be-
it in person.
You can bring it
Yeah.
personally.
That way we'll be ready for June.
Yes.
For June 27.
Yeah.
You
for
bring it to the
for
second,
council meeting.
bring it to the second floor over and the planning zone too. This
Thank
lovely lady there will be more than happy to accept it from you.
Thank Okay. you.
Thank you for
Right.
taking your time and coming here.
Of course.
We appreciate it.
Just to understand, we can come back June 27th.
You should.
You should.
You should.
It starts at 7.
7.
Are they allowed to speak on first reading? They're not allowed to speak.
If they see all the reasons, even if it's first reading, and also contemplating that in July there are no meetings, they will probably allow them to talk. So you should come. You
At
should
7.
come.
Yes.
Have dinner before.
It starts at
Yeah.
7. There are many items considered. Sometimes it runs late, so have dinner before coming. That's my advice.
And they're the ones that make the.
Have at
final
least a
decision.
snack before you come here. Because it could run late.
Oh, no problem. I'll be here.
They make the
Okay.
final
They
decision.
are, you're gonna get your final decision there,
From
so
them.
you should be.
And I just have a technical question because I was out of the country when all this was happening. I came back and she had already sent that. So I couldn't sign it, but could there still be more signatures taken
Of
after
course.
today?
Yes.
I don't see why not.
I don't know. You
Yeah.
know, this is just a technical question.
Yeah. Get as much as you can, just bring it in person when you have.
Okay, before we put the nail on this. Let's hear from the legal department.
Okay.
Make sure that we're all on the up and up.
There's just one thing, Deborah, remember, this was recommended for denial.
Right.
So it wouldn't be on first reading on the 27th.
Okay.
So
then.
you will get a chance to speak because it will be for consideration to be brought to first reading. If the city council would overturn this board's recommendation, then it would be on for first reading in August. But it's going to be considered to be overturned on January or June 27th, and you probably would get the opportunity to speak.
The signatures was my question.
Sure.
From now to June 27th, are we allowed?
Sure.
to get more signatures?
Sure.
So this is.
Yeah, any evidence that you would like to present to the city council, I would suggest that you speak with the city clerk's office so that they can attach anything that you might have to the item so that it can be distributed to the council members prior to the meeting so they can have a chance to review it.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much. This is my first time and I'm.
And listen, we love what we do, but we don't know everything. That's why we have such a competent young man right here that we rely on him blindly.
And we like that you come and participate.
Yes.
Earlier, we've been living there for many, many years. And we know the area, we stay in the area, we want to live in a residential area and we want to protect residential family living for us, our grandchildren, our great grandchildren, our family members that come over and visit us. And we don't want to have a medical facility, which basically that's what it is. And it's going to be run as a medical facility in the area.
Thank you.
Not that it's not necessary, but maybe just.
Thank you.
It's not appropriate for the area.
No, it's
I
not.
do wish for them to find the correct area. That's, I think, like what we had said. It's an opportunity. We have this property. My father left it to us, but it's just not an area for a medical facility.
It's not, the parking there is very limited. People, I live on 39th Place and this is Third Avenue. People from 40th Place, they park here on 39th Place. They have trucks, they have a pickup truck, they park there. And over here by your house, they park also there, they go to 40. Because today I was watching the car and I was watching. He parked there, he went.
It's already a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Noted. Please make sure you come back. Thank you. All right. Is there any more comments or questions from the board? Anyone else?
One last comment. I definitely understand Mr. Ulloa's comment regarding giving chances on here. I believe that if you have a meeting and it's this important, you should come. I also believe in second chances, but at the same time, I also believe in consistency. So if people don't take it seriously and they don't come, then, let's be consistent unless they, like, for instance, if I'm late to a hearing or something, I'm going to call the judge's chambers. I'm going to say, hey, I have this problem. Can you please, excuse me? But if I don't show up at all, then,
All right. I have one for you. While we're in this subject, would you proffer to not give second chances? Would you bring it out to the board here and say, okay, if they're not here, that's too bad.
I want consistency. So we're
That's
fair
what
to
I'm saying.
everybody.
That's what I'm saying. See,
Yes.
because we can set the rules that you come here and you hear your item, you present your item, and it is what it is. But if you sent an application and you don't bother to come in, hey, that's on you.
Exactly. Unless you
So-
send them note.
What I say
That's
is
hard.
that things can happen. You
Things can happen, yes.
You can have an accident.
Right, but
call
call, communicate.
Can have a problem, things can happen.
That is why I tend to be a little bit flexible with the second chance. But by all means, if everyone here decides that no more second chances, then no more second chances, as long as that is, legal.
I would recommend against that. I would wait until the item is brought before you. At that point, this board can take action. I wouldn't foresee anything before that would happen.
I understand that there's circumstances because Miami traffic or whatever, but I see that there's a bunch of residents here that are trying to prove their point. We have to give them the opportunity to voice before we give everybody else an opportunity to, let's give them let's table this for this guy. But we have 10 people here that went out of their way to come over here. I feel like that's disrespectful to them. And this is who we are working for here. We're not doing this for the contractors or the lawyers or anybody else. We're here doing it for the people of the city.
Right.
But
So
there's
everything
only,
here.
there's only one thing that I don't agree with you. We really don't know what happened to that person.
Oh, no, I totally understand. I totally understand.
That is
But
the
this is
only
why,
thing that keeps me from denying.
yeah, but this is why I wanted to hear, the people came here. I want to hear what they have to say.
Of course, and I agree with you on that one.
But if we table it, there's an opportunity that they might not be able to speak on this item. And they made their trip over here, so I want to
So
avoid that.
basically what I'm hearing is that you want to do on a case by case basis.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's another
It is
option.
circumstantial, it is
Absolutely.
circumstantial because maybe there's a monsoon outside, which happens sometimes.
It's
course.
very simple, very simple. You motion to table. You don't get a second. You motion to deny. You don't get a second. So basically, those motions fail. You motion to deny, you get a second, we hear it, we vote on it. Likewise, you vote, you motion to do this, we will vote on it. So may I suggest that in the future, we're a little bit more diligent as to, do we want to table? Or do we want to deny or approve or what have you?
I would
Case by case
think-
basis.
I would think based on the recommendation from Deborah, we can base our vote on it.
Yeah.
And I think,
Sometimes dragging it forward is worse. If it's
Of
no,
course.
it's no.
Right.
but there's so, but like I said, if your recommendation is denial. Depends what happened at that moment. We all agree,
Yeah, but in this case, the recommendation was denied, it was tabled, the item. And then the item actually came up and you saw how many exceptions he wanted.
Right.
The guy had not enough parking for the building. The whole place was a joke, what he was trying to, in my opinion, what he was presenting to us as a board. I understand that everybody's trying to make as much money as possible because I see it all the time. I'm a business owner. I see restaurants trying to cut corners and make as much money as possible with very, very little is what everybody's trying to do. So what these people are trying to do, get a home where a home is, where one family, where one home, the word home, remember that home, not a house, a home, where one family could live. They're putting 12, 13, 14, 15 families in one apartment building. And the people who got affected is all these people around us. And we're just signing off willy-nilly, destroying these little homes. Yeah, they're homes, they're ugly old homes. But you know what? I see a lot of people get these ugly old homes and turn them into beautiful homes. Okay, these ugly little houses that you see out there get turned into beautiful, beautiful homes a lot of times. And I've seen it with my own eyes. You know why? Because people have to care. Yeah, there's a lot of elderly people and their homes are falling apart. But these are things that we have to consider. That whole East neighborhood, there's a lot of old people in that area. And I understand that there's a lot of old people, but let's cherish, let's take care of these homes. Let's have them for their family. I understand that this kid wanted to turn it into an ALF or whatever he wanted to do it. Let's try to conserve it for the rest of the people. Let's try to save our homes is all I'm asking. That's all.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, that being said, happy Father's Day.
Save
Yeah,
the-
happy Father's Day.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
to all of, happy Father's Day, too. Because believe it or not, you do have a child, so.
Well, I have a husband too.
Oh, you-
Happy Father's Day to him.
So you pass it along.
I will.
Okay.
You have a father.
And I have. a-
There you go. So that being said.